Look at these beautiful flowers. The colours, to me, the fragrance of them from here, the beauty of them. It's quite extraordinary, the beauty of these things, isn't it? But they're not real, you see. It's because we get attached to the beauty that we see that we suffer. So if you get attached to the beauty of your garden or the beauty of your flowers that you see, if you get attached to the wonder of the sea, the wonder of, if you're a surfboard rider, the wonder of that activity, if you get attached to it, I can tell you you're going to suffer or know pain. The whole of existence is there for you to see the beauty in it, indeed. And the more you see the beauty in it, in existence, the natural beauty in it, and not see the other, which is the negativity, the arguments, the difficulties that are presented to you, the more you see the beauty, the more beautiful you become. For you are consciousness. And consciousness is the whole essence of the spirit, living the spiritual life, or the life divine. You got to first live the spiritual life before you can have the life divine. The spiritual life is supposed to bring you into the state of living the life divine. And the life divine is when God, or the unknown, or the real, or something that you can't name, lives your life through you. That's living the life divine. You are no longer in it. And yet, you are there as the perceiver, as the knower. But it's not you anymore. You have merged with something that is unnameable, that, for the want of a better word, I call the great intelligence of everything, which is God. That's the life divine. Then you don't have to make any more decisions. Then you are in paradise wherever you are. You are put into paradise because the myth of our Western culture is the Garden of Eden. And I can tell you from my own state and experience that it's true, that the life divine is being in the Garden of Eden, in paradise. So I live in paradise. Everything is provided for me. I don't have to do anything, although, of course, I do. I do what is necessary, but I don't do it, because it is done for me and everything's provided. And what other feature was there in the Garden of Eden, or paradise? The other feature was man and his perfect mate, and woman and her perfect mate. Now this is myth, but myth is the truth in the life divine. Only myth is the truth. And so, because I have loved woman, because I have told scores of thousands of people that there is only one woman on earth, in all its 3 billion women, there is only one true woman. And because I have told scores of people that there's only one man, which is the divine man, which is the man I'm talking about, who lives the life divine through us, then in paradise, they come together. And because I have done that and spoken about it for so many years, for 30 years, 40 years ago, I realized or was shown that the woman that I love, which means every woman, is the one, it, behind woman. And so it must be for man. And so I live in paradise. My life is paradise. And I live with the equivalent of Eve, a real woman. In existence, mind you. I'm not seeking her anymore. For many, many years, I sought her like you do, man. Every woman that I loved. From when I was a boy, from my first wet dream, it was she. But she was a dream then. And I had to bring her into existence. And I couldn't help but do that because, like you, I loved woman, or endeavored to, as an awkward teenager, as an awkward young man and all the rest of it. I did endeavor to love her. And the idea was that behind it all, which I didn't know then, was that I, man, I have to bring her that which is outside existence or inside my psyche. I have to bring her into existence. Nobody else does it for me. No master does it for me, although he can tell me. And by speaking to me as I'm speaking to you, you can know a myth that has actually comes to life in your life. Not some myth that's lived down the road or by some master. I am telling you the myth of life. And it is you that have to bring the woman, this woman that started with your first wet dream, and all your teenage loves and young man loves, and then your middle age loves, whatever it is. Your whole life is about bringing her into existence if you possibly can. And that's not guaranteed, is it? And it is the same for woman. You have to bring him in. You have to do it. You have to go through all your loves. And you have to be honest as you can each time that your heart is broken, as it gets broken when you're young and you're a young woman. The heart gets broken. And each time it gets broken, somehow or other, something is done, some detachment from attachment in some way, although it's a very slow process, as you know. And it takes a long time, even if you're fortunate, to bring this woman or man into existence to be with you every moment. Because the first sign of it is that you never ever want to be apart. You never want to go anywhere alone, unless you have to, of course. But always together, like wind that is met, always. But if you want to go and be alone, if you want to go down to the football club or have a night out with the girls, well, you got some time to keep going there until you bring this extraordinary principle of woman or man into existence in a body. And you don't know what body it's going to come through either. You can't say it, because every body you've ever loved is that principle coming in. And if you are a man, she will give you hell, this principle. She will break your heart. She will put you in impossible situations just for you to surrender, to give up your willfulness, for you to become pliant, flexible, let's say non-existence as a force. She will give you hell, as you might have noticed. But not the woman. Not the woman herself. She doesn't give you hell. It's the principle in her. The principle of Eve. The principle of God, because Eve is a part of God. As Adam is a part of God, you see. And he will give woman hell. And of course, while he is ignorant, while Adam is ignorant in existence, he will give her hell for his own selfish reasons. But even from his point of view, from that point of view, he is being selfish. Still, by the greater, wonderful plan of things, the plan of God, even if he's selfish, he will be doing something for the woman, or something will be being done for the woman, if only she will wake up a little bit. For it's all a matter of waking up from what I think, which is a mental thing, from what I feel, which is an emotional thing, which usually those two things rule my life. But when I start to wake up, I start to have an awareness and a consciousness. That means a little pause. Is love what I thought it was? Can this be love, that I suffer so much, that I know so much pain? Can this be love? You have to ask yourself that when you get this slight slit of consciousness awakening. Is this love? Or is it my own ignorance that is causing me pain, that I am putting up with what I think is love and it is not, for I am attached, because I only suffer because I am attached. But don't worry, you don't have to work this out. It's all done for you by the gradual unfoldment of your everyday, every minute life. For you do not really exist. You only exist as a pain, a struggling pain to know something. That's what you and I exist as, until we start living the spiritual life, start awakening, and then go into the life divine. We are a struggling pain to know. What do you want to know? Of course you want to know. You want to know when you are going to meet a beautiful man. You want to know when you are going to meet a beautiful woman. You want to know when you're going to be able to love enough with the woman that you're with or the man that you're with. You want to know when you're going to die, or you want to know your future, or you want to know this. Or like the scientist, you want to got a scientific brain, which everybody has now as part of their delusion. You want to know what life's like on Mars, or like on Venus or somewhere. Or you want to know what the next force is, the magnetic force or whatever it is, the gravitational force or something. You want to know something. Now in the life divine, you don't need to know anything. It's all provided for you. So I just tell you the myth, because there's no myth that doesn't have the truth in it for us here on earth. And I'm telling you that that's where I live. I am an ordinary man who's had, by the grace of God, extraordinary realizations of the truth. But an ordinary man am I. And as an ordinary man, I have been blessed with the life divine. I have been blessed with the Eve, with the divine woman, not a woman, but a divine woman as a principle, not the woman. That's not putting anything on Sarah. And I have been blessed by being loved by beautiful women who express in many ways this principle of divine love. Not just in many ways, but they loved the divine being. But at any rate, I just tell you this so that you know it's not impossible. For who's going to speak to you? Who's going to tell you? Jesus, who's been dead 2,000 years and nobody knows who interpreted what he said or anything, is he going to tell you? What master's telling you the truth and living it and saying, I live it. It has been given to me. I am an ordinary man. It is my life. And that doesn't mean that she's going to stay with me. That's not the point. That's not my concern. Although, of course, I trust she stays with me. But I'm not attached to that. She is divinely mine when I die and when I live. But I cannot possess her. And nor do I want to possess her. She is a principle beyond possession, but not beyond knowing as loving her. For loving is knowledge. True love is a knowledge. I know her. To love is to know. To know is to love. Not to know what Einstein's theory is or how to give way at the next traffic lights. Not that sort of learned knowledge. But to know, because I truly love her. And although I truly love the woman, it is not the woman that I truly love. Finally, it is the principle in her that demonstrates itself in her, that I just love loving her. I don't love anything else. I just love loving her. A man, do you love loving her? I don't mean just having sex with her, which is a very beautiful thing, yes, but I don't mean just that. There's more than that. Just do you enjoy just loving her? Do you enjoy just having breakfast with her? Do you enjoy just being alone with her? Do you enjoy waking up in the morning and putting your arms around and how blessed you are to have her there beside you? You know, do you love loving her? Well, now, I don't want to put any futuristic concepts in your head. I'm not trying to make you love like that. I'm just telling you what love is. What the human race doesn't love like that. But the individual can, but the human race doesn't, because there's too many distractions, too many other loves, like your four-wheel drive or your new car, or, as I say, surfing, or going to the pub at night, having a sing-along. So many other things to love. And finally, when you're going to love the principle of God, which is the principle of woman or man, all the distractions disappear. You just love loving. That's all. And you can't possess it. It is your life to love. And of course, that's the love of God. Isn't it amazing? It comes round to that's the love of God, because this principle of woman and man, this Adam and this Eve, is the principle of God. And that's what it comes down to. But the point I'm making is I am an ordinary man and I have it in my life. It is my life. Perfection in my life. Even though I have cancer, what does that matter to me? Nothing. What does death matter to me? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing to lament. It certainly is something, is death, but it's nothing to lament. For love is the ultimate communication. Love is the communication with the Most High, which is the intelligence behind God's mind, because God's mind, a mind has to have an intelligence behind it. It's not just the mind that's intelligence, it's what behind it. Like your mind. You are attached more or less to your mind and what you think and your concepts. But you are overlooking the intelligence that's behind your mind, which is the reality of the mind behind it. So you get attached to your thoughts and your concepts and what your mind thinks and its movements, when really your intelligence is absolutely still behind it. And that is the dawning of realizing the power that is behind your mind and emotions, the power of being. Now I want to talk about, or I am talking of, living and death. And it concerns the human psyche. Now we're a bit hazy about what the psyche is. So I'd like to tell you how, in human knowledge, the psyche is recognized. The psyche being the immediate substantive reality inside your physical body. Remember, I said the word substantive. Substantive is not substantial. Your physical body is substantial, but I use the word substantive to describe the psyche immediately inside the body. That's where you feel love. That's where you feel hate or resentment, not in your body, but in the substantive part of the psyche which is just inside. Right. Now, in the learning of man, there is psychology, coming from the word psyche, ology meaning knowledge. So the knowledge of the psyche is what psychology is. Then there's psychoanalysis, isn't there? Which is the analysis of the psyche. And all the other, and then there's the psychopath, which is something, a force that comes out of the psyche into man or woman and is recognized. So it's all psyche, you see. All this higher learning of man in his investigation of his mind or what he is acknowledges psyche. And it's time for you to make the distinction and not leave it to Freud and all the rest of them and Jung. It's time for you to know the difference, because you can know more than Freud or Jung in living the spiritual life, which is the life to God. So we've got the physical body, and we have the substantive psyche, which is just inside, which is where all your feelings are. Right. Now the nature of the psyche, or the character of the psyche, is that it goes on inside of you forever and ever, we can say, to use these existential words of forever. Right down to eternity, whatever that means. That's how deep the psyche goes. And your intelligence, which is what you have God-given to you, which is identified with your mind and emotions attached to those things, that intelligence can start to go inside. Instead of being manipulated by the substantive psyche, which is just inside. Instead of being manipulated by that, which comes into your body as rage, as jealousy, as self-doubt, and all the rest of the negative emotions which form the substantive psychic, they manipulate you, don't they? If you have resentment, you're being manipulated by a power, by a force that is not in your body, but is just, it's inside your body, but behind your body, but it's not your body. And how much of the world is manipulated by this psychic place? 99.9% of the world is manipulated by negative emotions, by feelings, by wantings, by tryings, by competings, by comparisons. These are all negative, coming from the substantive part of the psyche. So as your intelligence is able to go in and first of all see this, have you seen it? When you're next angry, do you see that you're being manipulated? This is what I'm talking about, is starting to live the spiritual life. When you are next angry or resentful, can you see you're being manipulated? Because the mind and emotions is going to tell you, oh, there's a good reason. He did this to me, or she did this to me, or they're doing this to me. There's a good reason. And I'm telling you, there's no good reason to ever be angry. Now, one of us is right and one of us is wrong. But you're going to have to see that. It is manipulation from the psychic. But you've got to see that. And desist as much as possible from being identified with this negative emotion in your life. Can you do it? Well, we are talking about the spiritual life, aren't we? I trust we're talking of the spiritual life, are we? Or are we talking of nice little mantras? Mummy, omi, domi, doody, do. Omi, dopey, doopy, do. Omi, dopey, doopy, do. Omi, dopey. Or are we talking of the spiritual life? Are we talking of lighting essences and fragrances? Are we talking of looking holy in meditation? Are we talking of ringing bells? Bing, bing, bing. Are we talking of raising flags? Or are we talking of the spiritual life? The human race does not like the spiritual life. It is too demanding, too real. So we prepare to put the flags up, light the essences, look holy, do some yoga. Anything but face my own negativity, which is ruining my life, my children's life, and everyone that comes in contact with me, and my life falls to pieces over and over and over, particularly in the area of love, in relationships. And what ruins relationships? Selfhood ruins relationships. Selfishness ruins relationships. Ignorance ruins relationships. And not living the spiritual life, not having lived it enough, ruins the relationships and my life, whoever I am. So what is this spiritual life? What have you been doing as a spiritual life? For God's sake, what have you been? What do you think it is? Do you think it's some new age thing? The spiritual life has always been here. For man and woman to find God, the intelligence behind the whole, which nobody can name. So all your concepts of the spiritual life is rubbish. Every single concept of it, except the reality. Why do you get angry? The world runs from that and gets angry. But you, what brought you here, has brought you here to start living, sooner or later, the spiritual life. And someone who knows about it to speak to you of it and what it means. God has sent someone to speak the truth to you for a change, instead of all the advertisements that I read everywhere. In all the magazines. I mean, you start to go mad if you look at them all. You know, everybody's a guru. Everybody knows the secret. There's all these wonderful ways to God, all awakenings and all sorts of things, and clairvoyance and all sorts of things. But the only reality in this world is I in that body listening to these words. That is the only reality. There is no other reality but I in that body listening to these words. The I next to you does not exist. It is an illusion and a delusion. I must be responsible for my life, not for anybody else's life. And I am here to bring the great God, the great intelligence, which is nothing to speak of, into this body. And how can the great divine love, the divine lover, come into this body if it has already got a possibility of anger, of resentment, of hatred, of impatience? Yes, impatience. Impatience is a substantive possession, which unfortunately most of us are possessed by until we really work on getting rid of impatience. And curiosity. Curiosity is another thing. It's the part of the desire to know what does not really concern you. The whole world is curious. You have to give up curiosity, so that eventually you can listen to things and see things because you're no longer attached to curiosity. It is all a matter of getting detached. But be careful, your mind and emotions will proudly think that you're detached from something. But I tell you, this great intelligence behind existence will soon prove whether you're detached if you think you are. For it will send circumstances that will bring you to your knees so easily, like that. Bring you or me to the knees. Don't think you can get away with it. Karma, which is the repetition of yesterday, of your pride or your ignorance, is chasing each one of us and catches up with it at various climacterics of our life. Boom! Down you go. Until you love. Until you love the other, which is inside of you, which is the God, which is the truth. When you love that, it starts to enter you. And when you love it enough, it takes over your entire life. And you don't have to suffer anymore. It doesn't matter what circumstances is brought to you. You do not suffer anymore. So now I trust that I have imparted some idea of what the psyche is. That there is this band just inside your body, which you can call your feelings, that is substantive and that possesses you. You get possessed by your feelings and you believe that your feelings are true, and all they do is manipulate you to make the wrong decisions. Now, what is this band made by? Everything has in existence, and this is substantive, so therefore it's in a form of existence, it's psychic. What is it made by? It is made by you and me, by man and woman, by the ignorance of man and woman, right down through all the ages. Every woman who ever hated, loathed someone, or resented someone, or was jealous of someone, that emotion went into this substantive psychic realm and perpetuates it. And every man who fantasized about some phantom woman while he's making love to a woman, and he fantasizes, that emotion goes into this terrible area of possession. And because we are a form of consciousness while we are alive, this psychic thing is intelligent. It has a certain intelligence, albeit cunning, because cunning is a certain intelligence, isn't it? So this psychic realm is cunning, and it can possess without revealing itself, can't it? Like anger can possess us in the moment. And we justify it by saying, well, look what he did and look what's happening. Of course I'm angry. Of course I'm angry. Of course. Which means a repetition of yesterday. Of course, down the same old course. Of course I'm angry. And all the stupid people around you will say you've got every right to be angry because they've got anger in them too. And they'll all sool you on to be angry. And you will be misled again by them, by the people around you. So you have to be responsible for your own life and not listen to those who would goad you on to be angry, goad you on, here, try this, the drug, I mean. If ever there was a devil, for God's sake, how about this one? Try this one. Try this drug. It's great. Try this. Try this one. Try this cigarette. I know you're trying to give it up, but come on, try it up. Well, if you've ever seen any caricature images of the devil, that would be a pretty good one, wouldn't it? Only the thing is, it's not a caricature, it's a reality of what man does to woman usually. Come on, take this, to give her a drug. And then woman, of course, sometimes does it to man. So what sort of a world are we talking about? An irresponsible, ignorant world in which emotions and feelings and mental concepts rule. And it's really the psychic, this band of the psychic, which is ruling the lives of ignorance of the world. Now, but the good news is that once was pure. At the beginning of time, the whole psyche is God. And it gets more and more fine in its subtlety of knowledge of God or life or truth or whatever it is. It just gets deeper and deeper inside of you. If your intelligence can go down into it, it gets finer and more beautiful, more sweet, and yet all sweetness disappears because it's supplanted by some knowledge that's beyond all description. The deeper and deeper you go. So once this psychic realm which possesses the human race possessed by its own wantings and tryings and comparisons, which it made itself, and now comes to possess us. Once it was pure, just pure psyche. And there was a great knowledge of the God, which is this pure psyche right through, down to eternity and beyond, who knows. There was a great knowledge in the beginning of man and woman of God, because it was all God, and it's just inside your body. It's all God. It's wonderful. And what is God? Well, God is harmony. In existence, God is harmony. And so there's a great knowledge, or there was a great knowledge in this place of harmony in my life, of love in my life, of sweetness in my life. The flowers in my life, that they're here today and gone tomorrow, but that doesn't make any difference because I just love the principle of the flowers, the principle of beauty behind them. I am not lamenting them because they die tomorrow. I know that everything keeps coming and recurring, and this is the knowledge in the pure psyche just inside the body. Or was the knowledge, and now it's been possessed by man and woman's longings and wantings and hopings and wishings. And so the prophet said in the Jewish religion, which is the basis of our culture, whether you like it or not. And so the sins of the fathers and the mothers will fall upon the generations following, up to the 6th and 7th generation. But I say unto all generations, so will the sins of the mothers and fathers of the past fall upon us, because it is all recorded, all living cunningly in the psychic realm, just inside your body, as your negative emotions. I trust I make it clear. But now we're going to go beyond that. And we start to go into the pure psyche, because this is only a narrow band here. And you've all been into the pure psyche, or every one of you that's here. Like Ian, you've just had a breakthrough there. I am very pleased to read that. And as small as it may seem to you now, because perhaps the energy of it is not with you. It is terribly significant to me, who sees things. And you can just recapture that energy, that place inside of you, because it's real then. And there it is. And don't doubt it, and don't let your mind start coming, doubting or imagining. So when you go, you've all had the knowledge of the pure psyche. Any realization, in any insight that you've had. Haven't you? You know how it is. Oh, that's beautiful, that's wonderful, that's amazing. I didn't know, it's not me. It's not me. I can't believe it, it's not me. You know the insights of love or truth or God or reality or something or other that's greater than your mundanity, your everyday thinking and feeling and wanting life. You've all had it. It's there because the intelligence turns within when you're living the spiritual life. It can go within and go into various levels down into the psyche. And sometimes it can reach levels that are utterly impossible to describe, but are so filled with knowledge that has no name. I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about the person next to you. I'm talking about you. So now I want to tell you about living and death. What is the point of living? I know we sense it is the point of it is to realize God or to realize truth or realize something, but what's actually happening in living? What is the purpose of living? That's the big question, isn't it? Usually the question is that I see in all the ignorant brochures and everything, why are we here? Shows immediately a master who doesn't know the truth or a system that doesn't know the truth. Why are we here? Which of course is what all the scientists say. The question is not why are we here? The question is why am I here? You see how the human mind gets things mixed up and doesn't say things precisely. For I am responsible for my life. It is I who will have the knowledge of God if that is given to me. It's no one else. It's not some book. It's not some tape. It is I who will have it, not the person next to me. I. And what the person next to me has matters not unless it makes me compare my own state with them, and then I plunge into unhappiness of comparison. The purpose of life is to be able to undergo rightly, because the circumstances of your life, now I'm talking about your life, I'm not talking about the person next to you or your grandmother or anyone, I'm talking about your life. And the circumstances of your life are utterly different to anyone else's, although they may see the same somewhere, seem the same, but they're not. It is your circumstances. And that is the ignorance that has not been faced. The circumstances of your life, when they are put pressure on you or difficulty or insist on decisions, that is the ignorance of your life that has not been faced. Now you, excuse me, change of season. Excuse me. I'm all right. Change of season. So every one of you has circumstances in your life that make it a bit difficult for you, or fiercely difficult sometimes. Like now, each of you has a circumstance somewhere there that may be difficult. That is there for a purpose. It is really there to give you the opportunity to suffer rightly, or to not suffer at all. But you have to be very careful about not suffering at all, because the mind will convince you you're not suffering at all when you are. Because the mind does not want to face the ignorance associated with the difficult circumstances that you are faced with. So the purpose of it is for you to become more and more intelligent, so that you start to see what it is that's causing this pain, this suffering that the circumstances may be putting on you. You have to see what is the cause of this, what is the source of this. And although it is the ignorance that has not been faced before by the human race, by the psychic and all the rest of it, but you got to take responsibility for it, and you've got to see, well, what is it that's causing this pressure on me? And you will find in every case that it is yourself. It is yourself that has caused this circumstance in your life. That you have accepted your life in the past, when you were young, as though it was all right and everything was fine, when it wasn't. And you couldn't help that, because you were ignorant when you were young. And it's only as you get older that you start to become more intelligent. For when you're young, you're just not intelligent. You can be closer to the womb like a baby is. You can be closer to the womb and more innocent, in a sense, of newness from the womb, from the source of life. But you're still not intelligent, because now you've got to experience. And intelligence arises out of sufficient experience to detach from the need to suffer. And of course all the teenagers suffer sooner or later, and all the young men and young women suffer. And they know pain and suffering through the emotions, through the self, through the psychic possession. Because they can't do anything else, because they're ignorant, and it's an ignorant part of the life. Growing up is an ignorant part of the life where you're getting your experience, and while you're getting your experience, you can't be detaching from experience while you're getting it, can you? Are you getting this right? Are you getting how life is designed? Please, you only got to see it. Life is designed for you to come in a beautiful baby, all fresh, made by God from the womb of life, which is the womb of woman, which is why we men are always trying to get into it. And from the womb of life, out comes the fresh little baby. Such a beautiful thing, made by God, not made by man or woman, but made by God. And then it comes into experience, into you and me and our conditioning and all the rest of our sexual frustrations which go into its pure little psyche, and it starts to experience, and it starts to get a self of demand and wanting. Right? And gradually it gets bigger and bigger, grows in physical stature and strength, and gathers more and more experience. It's quite unintelligent, really. Although it can be clever, because you mustn't confuse cleverness with intelligence. And so everybody suffers. On the way up, getting their intelligence, getting their experience, everybody suffers. As a young man, young woman, in your 20s, in your 30s, oh my God, when does it end? Well, the idea is for it to end as soon as possible, so that you don't need to experience any more out of wanting or trying, so that you only experience what happens. You know, like the lights on you, the air conditioners on you. This is the experience that you can't help, although you can ask, or walk outside or something, but the experience that comes to you, and not that you bring about through your selfhood, the nasty ones. To detach from experience, the need of experience. You can't detach from experience because every moment you're experiencing my voice, you're experiencing what you are now. You can't detach from experience in that sense. But you can detach from hanging on to experience, wanting the repetition of experience, such as good sex. Oh, we made such beautiful love to begin with. What's happened? Gee, if only I could get back the love that we made once. That's hoping for a re-experience. And that's ignorance. Because you should be having the same experience now all the time, without having to wish for it and have it wane or sink like the setting sun. So the purpose is to detach as much as possible from the need of experience, the repetition of experience. But let's go back to what makes these bad circumstances, yourself. You will always find in anger, resentment, in any of those negative emotions that manifest as circumstances in your life, are caused by yourself. And they will cease, those circumstances, or that circumstance will cease, once you have surrendered your resistance, once you have given up. But while you want to fight it, while you want to talk about it, to get the support of others, you're going to keep that circumstance coming. Or you're going to get a new one. That one will end, and zingo, up here it comes again, in another form. It's a magnificent existence, the way that it works. Always endeavoring to show you it is yourself that causes all your suffering. Now, the more that you are able to see the good in life, now we're switching into a new area here. You see, you have a life. Now, is the life that you are living, is there good in it? Now, it is human nature to say, oh yes, there's a lot of good in my life, but, and then you get the but. And then we hear the sad story of this is hurting, this is doing that, and my job's no good, or my lover's just left me, and all the rest of it. We always get a but. And that's human nature, and that but comes from the psychic realm just inside the body. That's a but world. And the pure psyche, which is forever, the whole lot, is the psyche of good, of beauty, of the beauty of the flowers. Now, is that beautiful or not to you? I mean, is it naturally beautiful and attractive and sweet and darling? Yeah, well, it is. That's good. That's in my life. Right. And is it good to be able to walk around? To be able to walk around, because there's a couple of people here that can't really walk around, you know. But I can. And isn't it worth acknowledging I am blessed that I can walk around, that I can see, because there's people that can't see, you know, that I can see. There is so much good in my life. And I can breathe because, my God, it is a terrible thing. If it ever comes to you not to be able to breathe freely, it is a truly terrible thing. I can breathe. I can just be. I can look at the sea. And I can get back from that perception something inside of me, which what I get from the flowers. Because the sea is not beautiful in itself. It's the perception of it that reflects inside of me some beauty or something that I love inside of me. And a beautiful day. And trees. And even the insects that fly around. All this is good, and the grass. And I see a market down at Coolangatta there. All the people are in the market. It must be good to be able to wander around the market, look at things, buy a few things because you've got enough money. Must be good. Well, how about it? Do you acknowledge the good while you got it? Because one day you won't have it if you're not very careful. Do you acknowledge the good? Or do you get the but when you acknowledge it? Do you get the possession of your feelings which wants to repeat? The unhappiness that's in you. The feelings that you're not good enough. The feelings of self-doubt. The feelings that you'd be all right if so-and-so hadn't done such and such to you. That you'd be all right if you hadn't been abused as a child. That you'd be all right if so-and-so, but. All rubbish. All possession. All you've got to do is acknowledge the good in your life. For only God is good, and if you acknowledge the good in your life, you are acknowledging the God in your life. And the more you acknowledge anything, the more you get of it. So the more you acknowledge the good in your life, the more God you get, which is intelligence, not cunning, just pure intelligence. The ability to see that yourself makes you suffer, not God. Now, to the degree that you see the good in your life, to the good degree that, for instance, if you lost someone that you loved very dearly, might be a child, might be a lover. I'm talking about in death, which is usually the final separation that leaves no hope. Or other separations leave a hope that perhaps you'll be together again. But there's nothing like death to be the final separation, is there? And if you have loved somebody and they die, and if you don't follow the course of human nature, which is to weep and to mourn and to moan and to moan, and to take the sentimental condolences of those around, the ignorant people around you. If you don't do that and you see, I want to know what is making me unhappy because my loved one has died. I want to know what is making me unhappy. It has to be myself. So why am I unhappy? Why am I unhappy? Because my loved one has died. It is because myself had an expectation that they were going to live forever. Well, at least for another 20 years. But what do you think happens at the end of 20 years? Do you think that's going to make any difference when they die? Oh, no. It'll still be the same moment, same ignorance. So if you can only face that, even if you fail to overcome yourself in that situation, to the degree that you are able to see that there was something right in it. A little light, it goes from you down through your body, through the psychic, for such lights can pass straight through the psychic, into what is a place inside your own psyche, what we could call your perfect body. You're double of you're double of the potential of what you can be here in the psyche. It's a double of you in the psyche. It's not psychic, because psychic is down here where all this rubbish is. It's a double of you in the psyche. So you already exist in the psyche deep down inside there, with the potential of everything that you can possibly be. That's why I call it the perfect body. But it's not perfect yet, because it can only be realized here in existence. For that's the purpose of existence, so that I can suffer rightly, I can see through myself, I can do good for someone, I can serve something that is good and right and true instead of serving myself. I can do something that's right and good and true, and every action that I do that is good and right and true sends this little light into my perfect body, and my perfect body of potential is lit up to a smallest degree. But that light does not go out. And each little light joins the other light, and my perfect body starts to glow a little more. That's the purpose of your life, to light up your perfect body, which contains all your potential of the complete and utter realization of God, of love or truth, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And with that, with the perfect body, then transfers an enormous knowledge to you. In this existence, in this faraway, dull and dismal place here, it communicates a wonderful knowledge that all is well, that all is right. Even though you are projected in here, down here in sense, so far away apparently from your perfect body, which you are. So that's the purpose of your life, to light it up. Not with chanting and all the rest of it, but with love. The giving up love of yourself. That's what pure love is. Not to love your anger, not to love your emotions, not to love your hate, not to love your wantings, your tryings, your comparisons. Not to love those. Because when you give up loving those, you know what love is. Because love cannot be described, because it is God. It is the perfect communication, and so it is only right that if I can only love, then that's the perfect communication to my perfect body. So the sacrifice of self, even to what I was saying yesterday, to not say the last word in an argument out of the consciousness, this is not right. I will not say the last word and therefore perpetuate this argument. That is love. That is the use of love, or intelligence, which is the beginning of love. And love is the finest communication that goes straight to your perfect body. And if I see the good in life, if I walk around not with a dismal look on my face and not with a perpetual smile, which I'm trying to put on, but in a lightness in me, which greets the day or greets anyone, greets anything, just by being, without having to greet anyone, just by being, something comes out, that you are untroubled. This is love. This lights up or comes down from your perfect body into existence, into this dark and dismal place. You know the old Christian hymn, lead kindly light beneath or something within the encircling gloom. Oh my God, that's a pretty good description of it, isn't it? Kindly light, lead me through this encircling gloom. Well, you know what the encircling gloom is? It is myself. But the Christians don't know that. It is myself. I am not responsible for my life. I'm leaving it to Jesus. I am responsible for my life. Jesus, rubbish. I am responsible for my life. And that's the only way that God can be responsible for my life, so that I don't have to make any effort anymore, that God comes in and takes over, not Jesus, none of these phony icons. They're afraid of a God that does not exist. God does not exist except as love. And as few people love, then God does not exist for them. Because their love is always endeavored to get something. And love is not there to get. Love just loves loving. So do you get it? The more you acknowledge the good when you go out at lunchtime, to look around and hear the sparrows, or hear the currawongs, or see the bee in the flower, or insect flying past, a moth. The more you see it, it tends to make you smile within, because it's light. It's a communication of love, not attachment to them, for everything has to die. But the love of it now. And that communicates to your perfect body. And your perfect body communicates to you into the degree that you have enlightened it. Right? So we all have this great question, what is enlightenment, and all that bullshit. I've already told them what enlightenment is, but oh well, many issues ago, but they're still asking what is enlightenment. Well, I've just told you what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is the enlightenment of your perfect body by love in this body, in this existence here, by giving up yourself, by giving up this Christian lead kindly light amidst the encircling gloom of myself. The gloom of myself, which makes my life a misery and a drudgery and such mundanity that every day is without any vital passion in it, because I'm trapped in my own dismal, dark world of self. But when I acknowledge the good that I have, it's good to be here, isn't it? It's very good for me to be here. It's very good for me to be with you. It's very good for me to be able to talk of God and love and truth and death and life. It's wonderful for me. I am a most blessed man. Is it good to be here? To hear about it? Thanks, Max. Yeah. Right. But I didn't want you all to reply, of course, because you say you know within if it's good to be here. If it's not good to be here, then you're very foolish not to walk out. Aren't you? You shouldn't be anywhere really that you don't want to be. Now, in death, well, we talked about the purpose of living. To light, to illumine in the first place, to illumine the perfect body. So your illumination is not yet brilliance, is it? But illumination is a wonderful thing. That the perfect body has illumination in it, shines. And illumination comes out of the object itself. The moon, of course, is not illumined. The moon reflects the light from the sun. But something where there is illumination illuminates from its own very own nature. So your perfect body starts to illumine, to be illumined, a glow of light. And everything that you do here, which is an acknowledgement of the good or the right or the true, that you do consciously, meaning not that you try to do it, but that you can't help do it, helps to illumine your perfect body. Now, when you are dying, you then, the intelligence in you, it's really the consciousness, because its consciousness is purified of self, has no mind or emotions in it, no individual mind. All that stuff's left behind. And you travel down into your psyche. And we don't know where the psyche is. When you don't have a body, we don't know where it is. But it doesn't matter. While we've got a body, we can use that symbol. You travel down, your intelligence or consciousness travels down into your perfect body, towards your perfect body. Now, your perfect body inside the psyche, I'm going to turn the psyche up this way. Here's the psychic and all the rubbish in there. Now, when you die, you can pass through that unless your intelligence is attached to this stuff. Then you can linger there and enjoy yourself in a psychic world of indulgence and selfhood. I'm not saying that any of you only get what you want, You don't get what you're not. You get what you want. So you can go into there and stay there and till you come to more intelligence. But then here's your perfect body here. And darn it all, your perfect body's also there. And darn it all, your perfect body's also there. And darn it all, your perfect body's also there. And there, and there. And you've looked in those mirrors, haven't you, in some toilets where you can see forever. You can see yourself sticking your head out down there through all the mirrors. So there's all these series of your perfect body, and where that perfect body is depends on its brilliance, depends on its light, depends on its glow. And so you come out of that, through that psychic, and you come into your psychic body here. And this is absolutely right for your intelligence. It's not that you're thinking about something up here. It is absolutely right, because by the law of God and the law of the psyche, which is pure God, you have to find your place in the pure psyche, which is pure in God. Now, isn't that wonderful? According to what you are. Because if you had to go up here, you'd be very uncomfortable. If you went up here, you wouldn't be able to stand it. Like I say, Arjuna said to Krishna, you remember? Krishna was his chariot driver, and Arjuna said to him, after a while, Arjuna said, "Oh, Krishna," in a nice casual way, "Krishna, show me your true nature." What he was saying was, show me your perfect body, Krishna, that you have realized. Krishna says, all right, you asked for it. So he goes, zoom. And it's so brilliant that Arjuna says, stop, I can't stand it. Well, you getting the message? Okay? There's no limit to how your perfect body can shine in God. And there's no limit that once you die, there's always a glow in the perfect body. Always. Every one of you. Or, if it suits you more, you can stay in the psychic realm. Whatever suits you, whatever you want. Right? Now, is that a nice story? Nobody loses, you see? That's what it means. It's here that you lose. It's here that it's difficult. It's here the place of circumstances. It's here that people die, that bodies die. And we have the ignorance not to know that there is no death. So everybody wins. Well, what would you expect of a God? A real God. I'm not talking about a Jesus, for Christ's sake. Oh, yeah, well. So I'm not talking about someone sitting on the right hand of God the Father Almighty, judging us for our sins. Oh, good. What about Jesus' sins? Who's going to judge him? Oh, he didn't have any sins, so they say. Oh, what a lot of old rot. If we have sins, he had sins too. You mean he never lusted after Magdalene, eh? Or any of the other girls, because he had a nice lot of followers, Marys and all sorts of things, you know. Did he never lust us after them? No. I am a man, but I have no sex in me. I have no desire to mate with my opposite pole, which is my love. None of that. What a load of all bullshit. Sitteth on the right hand of God the Father Almighty. God the Father Almighty doesn't sitteth anywhere. God the Father Almighty is the whole lot of the good inside of you. Yeah. That can never be described, can never be known, but can be with love. Yeah. You can have instant and complete, utter union with God with sufficient love. For love is the only communication. Nothing else. Nothing. So, just to repeat, when you die, your intelligence, which is then your consciousness, because all intelligence has got a mixture of mental and physical and all sorts of stuff in it, that's all purified out of you because you've lost your body and your brain, and the whole world disappears as such. The world of senses and the sea out there, and that's all gone, you know. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Well, what you will discover is that it does exist. It doesn't exist, but it is in an energetic form, just like everything in this room exists energetically in another place. And not sensorily. All your senses have gone with your brain and body. So it's more of a total whole. But at any rate, you have to see that. So you can get caught in the psychic, which if that's what you like, you know, if you really like that stuff, and that's what you truly want, because often what people think they want or seem to want is not what they want at all. So you can't judge anyone. But you can go there, or you can come into here to where the light glows, the perfect body glows that you've lit up to that degree, or you can go further where it is brighter, or you can go here where it's bright, and you can go here where it's bright. That's right. Well, old Free John, you know, who changes his name every few months, he called himself the Bright. Well, you can understand that because he has realized the bright here, right? But the bright is not the bloomin' brilliant, is it? Eh? So there's still another, you'll have to hear him change his name again, you know, because he's got to get the brilliant. And then what's more brilliant than brilliant? You see, it's all, everything is made up nonsense. All nonsense, but I'm not speaking nonsense to you. You hear the truth of this. It doesn't make anyone else a God. It doesn't make man or woman a God. It makes only one God, and that is in your own psyche. And that's the truth of it. For God is merciful. As the Islam says, God is merciful because God ends this stuff here and then gives us, what is it? No wonder it's called a heaven. Eh? What a wonderful thing that nobody loses. So you don't have to think about what I've said. It's just a matter of receiving the idea of it. Isn't that lovely too? Isn't it lovely not to have to think about what someone says? Not to have to make any notes about it to remind yourself, because it is you that I am speaking of. It is your reality that I am describing, because I know your reality. I am your reality in the place that I come from. And where do I come from? Only God knows. Only God knows where I come from. So thank you all for being here this morning. And I trust I'll see you this afternoon. And we'll continue this extraordinary journey into the psyche, into God.